So the other day, a reporter asked Donald Trump a little bit of a follow-up question.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January?
I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way a fourth term because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. For 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Right.
So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected.
По заявлениям Дмитрия Сергеевича Пескова, у вас разговор должен до 18 часов состояться с Дональдом Трампом. Не знаю, насколько он... Работа такая. Ну, не знаю, сейчас надо посмотреть, что на эту фразу скажет Трамп. Может быть, он любит интервью давать.
I'm not even going to mention Howard Lutnick in the back just giving that awkward smile.
It's a fourth term because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for...
Now, him making that comment is really not helped by the fact that he put such a ludicrous idea out there, and like clockwork, many of his followers, Constitution or not, think it's the greatest idea ever. Tradition be damned. Constitution be damned. Rules be damned. Now, tie that off with the fact that Steve Bannon is pushing for the exact same thing.
And President Trump, I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say, but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence, doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. You know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking about litigating this issue.
Oh, don't look so shocked.
Steve Bannon's whole answer, you know what that reminds me of?
Whether or not Mr. Bennett knew of your relationship with Ms. Lewinsky. The statement that there was no sex of any kind, in any manner, shape, or form with President Clinton was an utterly false statement. Is that correct?
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
And so in this case, it's very easy to take the bait. Don't. You're not even a year into your presidency yet. Yes, I get it. When there's a lot of madness and chaos going on, it allows you to kind of just slip through the cracks and get done what you actually want to get done. 2 things you really need to pay attention to. And one of them Trump did not see coming. To talk about a third term? Yes. Keep that on the back burner for now. The issue with Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard on Signal, that was the unforeseen.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had no comment about the latest controversy he's facing.
Mr. Secretary, does your wife attend meetings with sensitive info? Mr. Secretary, does your wife have a security clearance?
Hegseth had already been facing scrutiny over the messages he sent in the Signal group chat about the U.S. strike on Houthi rebels that inadvertently included journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. Now questions for the Pentagon leader are growing over a report in the Wall Street Journal that Hegseth brought his wife to 2 meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed, according to multiple people who were present or had knowledge of the discussions. Back in early March, cameras captured Jennifer Hegseth entering the room of a bilateral meeting with the United Kingdom's Secretary of Defense. The Pentagon released a photo showing her seated in the room. That meeting coming just a day after the United States said it was ending intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Neither the White House nor the Pentagon have responded to requests for comment about why Jennifer Hegseth may have attended sensitive meetings or what her level of security clearance is.
But then your attention should not allow you to forget that this is still in the works. This is the real plan. Trump allies make push for permanent tax cut and in Congress. You'll hear people talk about Trump's polling. Focus on this. He commutes the sentence of a fraudster? No. Focus on this. Remember, they initiated this plan in 2017. It's set to expire. Hence the level of haste that they're moving with. Okay, so remember this name, Steve Moore. Steve Moore is an economist that just happens to work for the Heritage Foundation. So Steve Moore was on Fox Business, basically telling you what it is his top priority for Trump this year. Or at least should be.
Most important priority is to make everything that was in the Trump tax cut of 2017 permanent, so it doesn't go away. Most of those features would go away at the end of this year if we don't make this happen. So that is a giant priority. We especially want to make sure that the business tax rates remain low, so America remains competitive when we compete against China and Germany and Japan and other countries. There's a big small business tax cut in that bill that really benefited our 35 million men and women who run small businesses and are the backbone of our economy. The average family saved about $3,000 in their tax bill every year from that tax cut. And incidentally, if this doesn't get done, they're going to pay $3,000 a year more in taxes next year, which is something nobody wants to see. And so there were almost everything in that tax bill we did in 2017 and that Trump signed into law is very good for the economy. But we also would like to see that 15% tax rate for American businesses who make things in America. I think it's clear that one of the most popular things Trump talked about in the campaign was no tax on tips. And so let's get that in this bill to make the tax code fair for everyone.
So the next question is, how critical is it for businesses to have a certainty about tax policy?
You raise a great point that if Trump has made any mistake in his first couple of months in office, I think it's that he hasn't made this the first priority. And I think it should be, because the sooner we get this signed, sealed, and delivered, the faster you're going to see the stock market roar back to life. You're going to see businesses hiring more workers than ever before. You're going to see a lot of investment. And Trump has talked about this, that we're already starting to see some of these companies, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars being invested here in the United States. And most of them are counting on this tax cut happening. So what I'd like to see, and our coalition would like to see at Unleash Prosperity, is do it by Memorial Day. Let's have a signing ceremony on Memorial Day. It liberates the economy. It will create a lot of jobs. We think millions of jobs will be created, and it will cause a stock market rebound like you never saw before. Trump wants to do this. He's got his A-team with Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, working on it. What we need to do, frankly, is we need to get Congress to act. They've been kind of sitting on their duff. They're not getting it done. They are not feeling a sense of urgency, but I think that's exactly what we need.
What challenges do you see getting tax cuts through Congress?
It's Donald Trump's party today. There's no question about it. He just won a resounding election. He has the American people behind him. Americans want to see an end of inflation. They want to see more jobs back. They want to see their incomes rise. So he has a lot of political capital to get this done. And if it's going to happen, it really rests on the president's shoulders. He's the one who can get this through. You mentioned the fact that there's very slim majorities in the House and Senate, and you're right about that. I'm very disappointed, by the way, in the House. Every single Democrat 3 weeks ago voted for this $4 trillion tax increase. And I'm very sad about that. I think we need two parties that are for the American worker. But clearly the Democrats basically said, okay, we're okay with raising taxes for $3,000 for every family. But once Trump intervenes and flexes his political muscle here and gets the Senate and the House together, we sit down at the table, we get this thing done, you're going to see a big economic boom in this country.
It is very clear that Trump wants the U.S. to be the manufacturing hub of the world. So in 2024, I remember reading a specific article that really at the time, because I'm not very AI savvy, it really didn't make sense. But now it's really starting to make sense, especially given what Trump already said.
I think we're going to do things that people would be shocked at. We're starting off with tremendous investment coming into our country at levels that nobody's really ever seen before. And they're very happy with the fact that I won the race and that they feel confident in their investments. And it's big money and high quality people. So my first day back from having a nice life, it's my honor to welcome three of the world's leading technology CEOs and in the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology. He's sort of CEO of everything. He's an amazing man, an amazing business person. But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi's son, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say the by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming.
Now, while I am in no way an expert when it comes to AI, I know one thing. To run AI, it requires minerals. A lot of minerals. Critical ones. This was the article I read around a year ago. At the time, it really didn't make any sense to me. But now, who would ever think that there'd be a partnership between tech and mining? But you have to consider some of the materials that go into some of these systems that run AI, what goes into them. Critical minerals. So when Donald Trump tried to cut a deal with Ukraine, he didn't ask for payment. He didn't ask for his money back. He said, we want a mineral deal. He wants to absorb Canada. Canada happens to have critical minerals. He refuses to call Putin a dictator. Russia just happens to have the largest source of critical minerals on the planet. The Panama Canal, that's a manufacturing and shipping and distribution thing. Even places that are just sitting on billions of tons of copper and hundreds of millions of tons of iron ore or aluminum. And which place has a massive supply just sitting down in the earth doing nothing?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But it does feel...
So all that just to say, keep an eye out for the things that actually matter. Don't get too distracted when you see something that's too obvious. I'm not saying all the other stuff that he talks about doesn't matter, but those tax cuts, if that happens, everything falls in line afterwards. That's just the big one that they need to push first. That's all I got for now. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you again on the next one. Be easy, y'all.
I think we're going to do things that people would be shocked at. We're starting off with tremendous investment coming into our country at levels that nobody's really ever seen before. And they're very happy with the fact that I won the race and that they feel confident in their investments.